Good morning. So this is my Toyota JZX100 that I bought crashed a couple months ago, and since I bought it, it went through quite a change. I fixed all the damage from the crash, we put some nice wheels on it, we put the body kit, and we also manual transmission swapped it because it was automatic. At the moment looks like this, and it's very beautiful car, but it have one big issue, and it's the engine. So this car has 1G engine, which is 2-liter 150 horsepower engine, which obviously makes this car super slow. There's a car coming, so I need to move it, wait. Oh, and he went to the side. Nice. So we had two options. Either we change the engine, swap it for something else, most likely 1JZ engine, or just turbo this engine, this 2-liter engine. 1Js are great engines, but nowadays super expensive, and turboing 1G engine, which is also a very popular engine here because they came in Lexus IS200s, would be firstly, I think, more interesting than JZ swap, and secondly, way cheaper. It's very cold, so I'm just gonna go inside. Why? This is the first video of the, I think, series of maybe 2 or 3 videos. We're gonna start today not with the turbo, but actually with looks, because for a turbo we still need to wait for a couple things, and for looks, because the look of the car is gonna change a bit as well, we have everything. So I'm gonna drive to the garage now and we're gonna start working on it. A bit of hint here at the back, but I'll show you everything in a garage. Let's go. Okay, so this is the last time we see this car in this state. And like I said, over the last weeks I was collecting some parts. There's some in this big box, there is some in the big boxes there. So let's put all the parts on the floor in front of the car nicely and yeah, go through it. I will try to be super quick to just explain roughly what's going on and what's the plan. So starting with the most important thing. This is a turbo setup for 1G FE from SU2 Performance. It's a Polish company, they wanted to help us build this car. The main part is the Garrett turbo. Adam couldn't wait and he put it together with the manifold. But here it is. This is a Garrett GBC22 turbo. It's quite small. Because it's small, it should boost up quite fast, which is what we want to get. With this turbo setup, we should be easy at 300-350 horsepower with 1G engine. So the set comes with the turbo, the exhaust manifold that's from SU2 Performance as well. There is also a whole bunch of piping for the intercooler. We have an intercooler. We have also a downpipe and pretty much a half of exhaust setup. This is all part of the SU2 Performance set. As well, we have some other things that we need to upgrade with the engine. So we have fuel injectors, a new fuel pump, we have some oil coolers, pretty much the whole set, everything we need to turbo this car we have here. We also have ECU Master standalone ECU that we're gonna install in it, and all this should give us pretty good power. Moving on to the angle, I don't have an angle kit here for it, but we have an adapters for BMW E36, which we are not gonna use, but just to show you roughly what are we gonna go for. So my friend Błażej from Odessa CNC, he's currently working on angle adapters, same as we use on all BMWs for a JZX platform. We don't have it, but we're gonna have it in a couple days here. And part of this angle adapter will be extended arms, extended lower control arm. And because of that extended arm, we're gonna have a front wheel pulled outside of the car by a lot. And that's why I needed to go for some wide fenders for the front. But look, when I was gonna buy fenders, I was like, let's just buy rears as well, because if you wanna have a front of the car wide, then it would be very nice and balanced to have a rear of the car wide as well. And then I went very quickly to getting wide wheels as well, because firstly, 3-piece Japanese wheels are gonna fit this car much better than those Chinese reps. And secondly, they were cheap. I bought them narrow and we relipped them with the fresh lips, so they are quite a good spec. These are SSR Vienna relipped rears and stock fronts, and this all concludes our setup for this car. And we're gonna try to install all of those parts and more in the next, let's say, 2 weeks, because it's Christmas. Usually probably it would take us a week, but because we have Christmas in 3 days and all of that, we're gonna need some more time for it. And normally you would start with the good stuff, with the turbo and with the power, but I need to have this video ready by Sunday to give you guys a video for Sunday, and we are not gonna make a turbo working in 2 days. So we're gonna start with the visual part. Today we're gonna install the white fenders, fronts, rears. We're gonna put some tires on them wheels, and we're gonna try to fit the car on the new fenders and new wheels. And that's the mission for today, Friday, and tomorrow, Saturday. And you guys get a video on Sunday. Yeah. So let's clean all this and let's get to work. Okay, the new fender is roughly in, just placed it there, and look how much wider it is comparing to the stock one. The stock one was just flat, and this one is just going out a lot. So this is what we need to help us cover the extended lower control arm that's gonna push the wheel more out. And of course a bit wider wheels, although the fronts are the same, because these are 9.5 I guess, and these are 9s, so it's literally almost the same. So what we need to do now is fit that one correctly, and this one, as you can see, it doesn't have any holes that are needed to mount it properly to the light, to the indicator, and to the chassis. So what I'm gonna do now is get the drill some holes, and mount it properly. This is now very Ebisu style setup, with the front very high, a big wheel at the front and big fender. But yeah, this is obviously a rear wheel. I'm just gonna put it back. I put a tire on it. This is 235, and I think it's a fairly good size for what we're looking. So I'm gonna get some 235s, another ones, because this one, as you can hear, it's leaking air. I just took it from some garbage. Now we need to drill the holes on the top here. Okay, the front is finished. We have fenders on, and now we are gonna go to the rear, and the rear is gonna be more difficult because firstly there is two pieces, so there is a fender piece and there is door piece, and secondly we need to cut the whole stock fender here for the wheel to have more space to work up and down, right? Okay, we're gonna do a speed run. Adam said he's gonna do self tappers, and we're gonna see how long would it take. Ready?
Adam, are you ready?
Yeah. Bang it, quick, okay. Let's go. This is the door piece. I'm gonna do a live commenting. So this is the door piece. This one goes to the door. Adam is ready here to bang it. Let's see, just let's make sure it's... Adam, no, Adam! Czekaj! Let's make sure at
To
least...
jest dobrze, ty! Co ty chcesz? To
Nie, no nie jest.
To jest driftuba, ty. Popatrzcie, możecie.
Do tyłu bardziej, o.
No, popatrz na tego, na...
Okay.
No.
Będzie.
Kurwa jest pyte.
Ej, chcesz krótsze, Adam? Bo teraz się...
To przynieś.
Okay. There is no way back now. Okay, the boys are gonna do the second one. Let's see what Marek is doing. Okay, anyway, let's go back to the boys. Look how much wider this fender is. This much wider. Okay, the self-tappers were only needed just to make a holes in the actual door, and now we used rivets. We have rivets in the door in 4 places, so they're not like every 10 centimeters as some people like to do. And now we're gonna mount the fender on the door, and then we're gonna do the same on the back.
Man, faster, time is going. Look.
Time is going. How much?
Already 6 seconds. Adam.
6 seconds.
Come
6
on,
seconds.
man.
Let's go. Okay, the door piece is in. Now before we mount the rear piece, we need to cut out the stock fender, and Adam is gonna now mark what we need to cut. So this is how much we need to cut the beautiful clean body of the Mark II. Bo to jest Toyota, to nie jest jakaś BMW, wiesz? Sad? It's quite a sad moment because we had a pretty clean, very nice Toyota Mark II chassis, and Adam just cut it like a savage. Monster!
Okej. Miałem tego knefla znaleźć. Jeszcze uwierz.
So this is our situation. As you can see, there is much more that needs to be cut, probably like maybe 2 more centimeters, and then we're gonna have clearance. So even with these wheels that are 11.5 inch wide, we're still gonna need a spacer to fit it. Okay, so this is where we are at the moment. We know for sure that we need to have a bigger tire at the front because this is a bit too skinny for this wheel. We also know that we need to do something with the rear wheel because it's too much in. So what we can do is either reduce the camber to make the wheel more straight so it would fill the gap, or we could just have a bigger spacer to push the wheel more out. We also need to sort out the fitment between these two elements because it's not perfect here. And maybe, I don't know, maybe raise the car a bit because it looks really low at the moment. It looks way lower than before. Maybe the line of the rear arch, or like in general the line of the arches, is lower than the stock ones. Okay, it's 11 p.m. Comparing to the front, the rear takes way more time because you fit, you cut, you fit, you cut even more, you fit again, you cut even more and more, then you hammer, then you cut, then you fit, and it still doesn't fit. But then you cut and hammer, and then finally it's gonna fit, maybe after some time. almost midnight, and this is the effect. We finish all right side of the car. Tomorrow we're gonna do the other side, and it's hard to admit, but I think it's the first time I'm gonna say this. This car needs to be a bit higher than it is now, because this is supposed to be a drivable height, and this is not drivable. The car is super low. It looks very aggressive as well. It took us a while. It took us like good 8 hours, I think, to fit one side. Good morning. We have new day, and it's actually already afternoon. And it's been tough because today is already Saturday, and initial plan for this whole video for Sunday was to take big Kevin, the off-road Kevin, out for snow drifting, but there's no snow, nowhere, even in the mountains. So we decided to do Mark II instead. But with that little time to do it, it wasn't easy. So what we did yesterday and today morning was one side of the car, pretty much. I mean, we did front on the other side, but without the wheel. So one side is ready, and I'm gonna take the car out and see fully how the car looks. In the garage, it looks super badass. So yeah, let's see it outside. Look at that. Okay, this is where we finished today. Sadly, we didn't have enough time to finish it completely, to do both sides and maybe take the car for a spin, but we also need to figure out the suspension and tires, because at the back, as you can see, the back is too low. We need to raise this car a bit, because now this is very good and beautiful for a stance car, but being a drift car and being a car that has to drive fast through the roads, this is too low. So what we're gonna do with the back is have less spacer, because this now has 35mm spacer, and bigger tire. So it would hide the wheel a bit in the arch, but the tire would be bigger, so the fitment still would be pretty good. Also, what we need to do is cut the bumper here, because as you can see, the rear bumper is touching the tire, because how wide the wheel is now. And going to the front, like I said in the beginning of the video, we're gonna get extended lower control arm, which is gonna push the wheel out. That's why now the front looks very narrow. And then we're gonna experiment with the tire to have a good look at the front as well, because on a drift car, what you want is your front has to be like a bit wider than the rear, right? And at the moment, the car looks a bit unproportional because the rear is very wide and the front is much more narrow. After the weekend, we're gonna do the other side, and then we're gonna move on with the turbo. Another thing is that we need to paint it, because before the car had 3 shades of white, and now it has probably 5 shades of white. So after the turbo, after the car drives very well, we're gonna paint it. I think I'm gonna keep the white pearl color because it looks great, and we don't have any other white car. And this is what we are finishing this video with. Thank you guys for watching. Happy Christmas, and see you in the next one.